What is going on, guys? How y'all doing today? Rangovidsmango12 here, and we are back with the next issue to Ultimate Spider-Man, which is issue 8, and as you can see, the chapter says working stiff, and that actually resembles the fact that he's trying to get a job, kind of, and of course he's trying to fight crime at the same time. So in this issue, we're going to be seeing Peter get introduced to J. Jonah Jameson and the Daily Bugle and stuff like that, but also a pretty major villain known as the Kingpin. So yeah, without further ado, guys, let's jump into this issue. Alright, so right off the bat, the issue throws us into what seems to be a crime. Now, this isn't just any crime. If you guys have played the Ultimate Spider-Man game, then you'll know that this guy is the Ultimate Universe Shocker. So yes, this is the Shocker villain of the Ultimate Universe, and it's just awesome. Like, you can really see Spider-Man's humor shine through, especially with this guy, because in the Ultimate Universe, Spider-Man is known to absolutely destroy the Shocker, like, you know, like throwing jokes at him and just absolutely obliterating him in terms of making fun out of him and stuff like that, and it's awesome. The Shocker in this universe isn't the big bad villain that he is in the 616 universe. In the Ultimate Universe, he's kind of like a low villain, like he's not really that major. He's just kind of one of those characters that gets thrown in there as a bit of a cameo kind of thing. And as you can see, Spider-Man saves these guys. He stops Shocker from robbing this truck. And these guys are absolutely terrified of Spider-Man, telling him to just take the money and stuff. And you kind of see like the money reflect in Spider-Man's eyes, kind of suggesting that maybe Peter's thinking about taking the money, because of course he'll be tempted. But he just runs out of there saying that it doesn't match anything in his wardrobe. And the approach that Spider-Man has to stuff like this is just brilliant, and that's one of the most awesome things about Spider-Man in general. Now, as we just saw there on the previous page, we could see that Flash Thompson and Kong were just talking about if you get a picture of Spider-Man, then you're going to get an insane amount of money for the picture from the Daily Bugle, and Peter actually overhears this conversation and thinks, if anyone's going to get the money, why can't it be himself? And that's exactly what he does. He poses in front of his camera, takes a few pictures, and goes straight on ahead to the Daily Bugle. And in the Ultimate Universe, you know that Peter Parker is he's a bit of like a journalist. He really likes newspapers, he really likes the working environment. It's kind of like, you know, like the working city in New York where everyone's running around the city, like everyone's in a rush. That's kind of like me. I absolutely love cities like that, and that is exactly what Peter is like. He walks into the Daily Bugle and instantly falls in love with the place, and this is where we get introduced to J. Jonah Jameson. Now, we've already been introduced to him earlier in the comics. I think it was in Ultimate Spider-Man issue 4, but now we're actually meeting him for real, and that is what Peter's doing as well. And Ben Urich and Robbie and J. Jonah Jameson and all that are all arguing about getting a picture of Spider-Man. And whilst they're all arguing, Peter just holds up a single picture of Spider-Man, and all of them are just starstruck at what they are seeing. And you can even see Ben Urich's expression on his face right there. That's also another reason why I love Mark Bagley's artwork, because he really brings through the expressions on people's faces. Like, look at J. Jonah Jameson right there. You can instantly tell what he's thinking. He just kind of thinks, where the hell did this kid get these pictures? And you can see that just through the detail in his face. And just like classic J. Jonah Jameson, he pretty much asks how old Peter Parker is. He says he's 16. J. Jonah Jameson basically just says that all of his pictures are crap, and he offers him I think it's $50. I nearly said 50 quid then, but then I remembered it's America, so that is way below what the reward price was. But obviously, because J. Jonah Jameson doesn't know Peter Parker, he's not a professional photographer, he's just a kid in school, then he thinks that he can go around him, you know, kind of outdo him. And their website actually goes down, and Miss Brandt starts going crazy, and Peter actually manages to fix the website because he's a little bit of a nerd, remember. And I think this is brilliant because usually in the 616 universe, Peter is hired as like a photographer, whereas in the Ultimate Universe, he's hired as website management kind of thing, and that is awesome. And he instantly pretty much gets a job, and Peter actually has to ring up Aunt May to like tell her that he's got a job and stuff like that and see if she's okay with it. And she actually wants to speak to J. Jonah Jameson, and by the looks of it, she absolutely obliterates him on the phone, you know, like, because it's kind of like, I think J. Jonah Jameson met his match when he spoke on the phone to Aunt May, and of course he was not happy with that. Now we go over to this awesome artwork, like this awesome sequence of Spider-Man swinging through the city, going to save someone, and just that artwork is brilliant. It's kind of like, it looks a little bit like concrete artwork, you know, like where he's engraved and he's like made out of stone kind of thing. It kind of looks like that, but as you can see, Uncle Ben is there again getting shot, and you're probably thinking, what the heck is this? And it turns out that it's a nightmare that Peter Parker is having. Aunt May runs in to see if she's okay, and Peter is actually having nightmares because he blames himself for what happened to Uncle Ben, and it's all a little bit emotional. Peter kind of looks like a zombie there for some reason, but yeah. So then we go over to the next day where Peter's in school, and he's kind of like just in his own zone. He's kind of thinking like what to do, like how can he make a difference as Spider-Man, and he's kind of zoning out of all of his classes, like he's not even listening. And of course, now that Peter's got a job at the Daily Bugle, after school he goes straight to the Daily Bugle to work on the website and stuff like that. And he actually starts doing a little bit of research with organised crime in New York, and he starts seeing who all these big major people are. And this is when we're actually introduced to Wilson Fisk, the Kingpin. I don't know whether you recognise him, but you know Fancy Dan the ladies man and all that. Yeah, it's also in Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions, it's also in the Ultimate Spider-Man comics, and it's also in the 616 Spider-Man comics. Whenever you see like a bunch of thugs, they always talk about Fancy Dan, and he's also here as well. And Peter pretty much asks Robbie, why do people know that the Kingpin is a major crime boss, but nobody ever does anything about it? And it's pretty much because he buys his way out of places. Like, this Kingpin character is so powerful that he literally does whatever he wants and nobody bats an eyelid because they know that if they mess with him, he'll retaliate. Now, I love the ending to this comic. It just shows Peter looking at Wilson Fisk's name and saying, yeah, well, we'll see. And that means that Peter is gonna go after the Kingpin. And this is actually one of my favourite, like, chapters in the Ultimate Spider-Man series, you know, the ones with Kingpin, because Kingpin actually becomes like a major character in the Ultimate Universe. Like, not in terms of like things he does, but he actually has a major effect on Spider-Man in terms of how Spider-Man develops as a character. And we don't necessarily see Kingpin in like the later Ultimate Spider-Man comics, but he is more of an early villain. It's kind of like Spider-Man's first major villain, and it's just awesome. Like, we'll get to that soon, guys, but trust me, it is awesome. What did you think of this issue? Let me know in the comments section below. Issue 13, Ultimate Spider-Man issue 13, is the next major issue because that's actually got a few surprises in it, so look forward to that. And of course, guys, hit the like button on this video. I'm going to give this issue a 9 out of 10. Go to the links in the description to follow me on Twitter and Facebook and get all the recent updates on comic book news, and of course when I'm editing my videos, etc. And of course, guys, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the like button on this video, and I'll see you guys in my next video.